Alrighty. So it says we are live for a whopping 2 seconds. All right. Good evening, everyone. If you are out there, hello, hello, hello. Looks like my screen is. There we go. All right. So we are live. Hello. Good evening. Good evening, Big Johnson. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
Oh, living the dream up here in the big Northeast. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who's showing up at this point, especially those 3 thumbs down already. There's the average. Yes,
Dream
we've
up
met
here in
the
the big
average already.
Northeast. So I just want to say thank you.
So, oh boy. So if you guys saw the notice, this chat tonight is going to be a very big mixture of different things. So we're going to talk about coronavirus, which I spelled wrong now that I look at it. I actually was thinking beer, apparently. Price gouging, and then other topics such as the new firearms that have been released as of recent. So we'll do a quick round or roll call here, and we'll see who's actually in the room right now. So it looks like an abundance of the same cast of characters, which again is always appreciated. So we've got Double B, who is first in. So congratulations, Double B. You are the winner tonight for the whopping shout out of you are the first contestants on our chat. So
Be first to
congratulations.
last.
Oh my gosh. Also, Ranger 10 millimeter, Dennis B. Let's see who else is here. C Kim is here. A lot of C Kim and Ranger 10 going back and forth. Let's see. Meathead, Nick, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. I'm scrolling down as fast as I can. Pistol Pete, Kathleen, how are you all? Craig Fatla, hello, sir. Ohio Gear Guy, hello, sir. Young Guns, hello. Guy Comet, what's up, buddy? Scott P79, Mr. Stipper 22, I don't know. Big Daddy G, hello to all of you. And for those of you who are going to be joining us shortly, hello to you at some point. We'll say hello again. So why don't we start this off? Let's talk about guns first, because I think, as we were discussing, we do want to talk a little bit about the coronavirus and also the craziness that is surrounding it, especially in places where we are being effectively taken over by coronavirus. Because let's be honest, New York has the largest case numbers right now in the United States. So yay for New York. We're first in something finally. But I think we want to talk about firearms first. So recently, there have been some pretty big announcements. And when I say big, it's kind of funny because it's ironic because they're actually very small. So the first one we'll talk about is the P10M, as in Mary or midget. I don't really know what they
Midget.
want. But what are your thoughts about that P10 midget, Mr. Big Johnson?
I think they should have made it a double stack. Well, put it this way: the S is too small for me, so I know the M is not going to be for me either. But if you want a small single stack, might be the gun for you. For me personally, I really don't have any interest in it. I guess you know Probably, well, put it this way: for some people with really small hands or some ladies with smaller hands, that might be the perfect gun. I mean, for a purse carry or maybe on their body carry, that might be the perfect gun for them. For me, I personally wouldn't purchase it, but I'm not normal either. So, what do you think about
Yeah. Again, I'm going to kind of mirror almost what you're saying. I think that the P10C to me is for me personally, I like it better than all the others.
it? Yeah.
I think if you have a large capacity and you want a large size gun, the F is perfect for that, obviously. I think also for those of you who want the smaller version, the S was perfect. I'm not really sure what the point of it is. I know that people want to get smaller with their carry weapon, but at the same time, I think one of the things that still I'm a little uneasy about is the grabbing of that gun in a timely fashion and doing an effective shot.
Yeah.
Again, I have the P365. Haven't even shot it because I'm so worried about not having any ammunition after I'm done that I'm actually taking a little hiatus for a little bit. But I'm not sure if it really fits what I would be looking for. Like to me, it still doesn't really make me say, "Ooh, got to get it," And it reminded me of a lot when I was looking at it. It reminded me a lot of the APX compact or whatever they call it, the APX carry, where it kind of resembled that a little bit. Like it wasn't as good as the original versions. And I wonder if that's going to be the same thing with the M versus the C, the S, and the F.
Yeah, I agree with you on the compact because with the compact, you can put the +5 in it. That'll give you a little bit of an extended grip. I mean, I love my F. It's awesome. And I've even got +5 for the F. So it's a beast. But, for if you're just at the range and it's a perfect gun, and I've carried it. But the sweet spot, I think, is the C. The S is no good for me. And this one, I guess if you could consider like you wanted to ankle carry a gun also, or use it as a backup gun,
Mm,
but you couldn't even use the same mags because it's a single stack. So,
right.
I
Right.
don't know. I
Yep.
mean, it's kind of one of those weird, you know, I don't really know what the role is. I guess if somebody just wants a
Right.
very, very small single stack, but
Right. And I think I think what you said was good too, because a lot of times people will say, well, it'll be my main carry gun. Like even the 365, it's got a lot of capacity. I know everybody knows that. But I don't know if I'd even carry that as a main gun. I would carry that more as a backup just because of the size of it. And I think that you're right. Like even the M would be a decent backup to the other firearms.
yeah.
So I'm not sure if it would be a main gun, at least
Well,
not for
and
me.
like we talked about before, if I reached down to grab that, I promise you I'd miss that thing every time. I
Mm,
mean, even if I trained a lot, then you induce stress and speed and all that, I'm done.
right.
I'm they're going to be putting me in a bag and carrying me out because
Right.
that gun would serve me absolutely no purpose. Personally, I'm not. If somebody wants it, grab it. It's just not for me.
Now, now the other one that we're going to talk about too, handgun wise, is going to be the new FN 503, which again is kind of an odd entry because they just released the compact MRD.
Yeah.
So that's a small gun. That's a fairly tiny gun. It's double stack, but it's still a fairly tiny gun. And then they come out with I believe it's a single
It's
stack,
a single stack. Yeah.
um, but it's an 8 round capacity and it's super tiny.
Yeah.
I just don't know. Like if again, like that to me doesn't really make sense. It doesn't really fit what I'd want to do.
Yeah. Thank you, Michelangelo. He gave you $1.
Thank you, sir.
I think with the FN, and I love FN products, don't get me wrong. I think they're absolutely awesome guns. But again, if you're carrying it as a backup, your mags are not compatible because it's a single stack. If you're carrying a compact, I just don't. It seems like CZ and FN are late to the party, which a lot of the times they are. On the 365 bandwagon or the thin grip guns and things like that. So I guess they wanted to throw an entry out there so they could say that they had something new. But again, if I had to choose, I think the FN is going to be larger. It definitely looks larger. I haven't seen it in person, but it looks a little
Mhm.
larger. But if I had to choose between those two, I would personally get the FN. And it does have, on the single stack, it does have a better trigger. It is a 5 pound trigger. It's not the 7
Right.
pound trigger.
Right.
So they've done something to it that's better. But still, even holding it, drawing it, it's just
Yeah.
going to be too small for me.
And again, everybody's opinion is going to vary. And I think if it fits your bill and what you want, then
Yeah.
go for it. They're going to be good quality, hopefully. And I don't think you're going to experience too many problems with it. Just for me, I don't know. I wonder if, again, if the market is dictating certain trends that are going off on these tangents,
Yeah.
and maybe this is the new thing now. So,
Who knows? One that I am excited about is the new Ruger PC Charger. And
mm,
it's basically the pistol version of the Ruger PC carbine. But it's in pistol form. And the cool thing about it is, it's a takedown. So you can actually take the muzzle
yeah,
off and, the barrel off. It snaps all up and you can put a folder on it. And that thing can get really small. And it does take Glock mags. So if you're carrying a
right,
Glock on your hip, that's kind of the perfect compadre to go along with it. Throw it in a bag, even a backpack. Hell, you could probably get the damn thing in a lunch sack. It looks like if you really folded it up right. But and it's a threaded barrel, so if you wanted to use a can or something like that on it, you could. Um, I mean, I think that that's more viable. And when the prices come down on that pistol PC or PDW, whichever you want to call it, is going to be comparable to like going out and buying a Glock as far as price wise. It's probably going to come in
hmm,
$5.99 or something like that. But that could be a lot of bang for the buck, to carry along with you. And even for like a young lady for self-defense or something like that, that might be the perfect weapon for them because it's going to be easy to control, got more points of contact, and I think it's
right,
pretty
yeah,
dang cool looking. I think they did a good job with it.
yeah. They're gonna have a pretty big purse though to fit that thing in there, even though it's
Yeah,
small.
no, I was meaning
But
like, for home defense or something where they could grab that
yeah.
versus a pistol and have a little more controllability probably than,
And
go
do
ahead.
you think did you ever think once that we'd be sitting here saying that Ruger has come out with some of the most, genuinely decent stuff
Yeah.
more so than other companies because it does. It looks really nice. I mean, that
Yeah.
I don't think I can own it here in New York State, but if I could, I would. I would get one because
Yeah.
I think that's something that is worthwhile. I think even more so than the PC carbine. I
Yeah.
think that's actually more of
Yeah.
where I would like to be able to get, but unfortunately, because it looks bad, we probably can't get it here.
Yeah, and you might not be able to with a threaded barrel and stuff like that, but I mean, it's counted as a pistol, but if you can't put a folding brace on it, but you could have it as a
Right.
pistol. But I don't know about
Right.
that, but I just think Ruger's, with the 5.7 and all these other things. I mean, they're kind of innovating some stuff, and their price point is
Yep.
right compared to other people or other manufacturers. So I think they've got with the Ruger PC Charger. I think that's going to be a winner. I really, really do. When that thing hits,
Right.
I guarantee. I already know like 4 people that are going to buy it. I mean, right off the bat, I want to put my hands on it because the front forward grip, if you move the little thumb stop all the way up to the front, I could probably get my hand under it. But if you move it back, I can only get 3 fingers on it from the
Right.
looks of it. And I know 22 Plinkster did a great video on it, and I'm assuming we might have the same size hands. But he was saying it was kind of difficult, and he had to hang his finger on that little finger grabber or end stop. So I don't know, but I think it's a great offering.
Right. Yeah, no, I think they did a good job with it, and we'll see as more people get to shoot it and buy it and see what their thoughts are on it. But like I said, I mean, there's been some stuff that has come out that nothing showed up at Shot Show with, but I don't know. Again, I wasn't overly like, wow, look at that thing. For me, I would rather get the 509 compact MRD if I was going to go with a smaller 509, but I don't even have a desire for that because the medium size one is fine. It's
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
So,
And I think,
but
with you and I both, I know my hands are bigger than yours. We've talked, we know that, but I think, my sweet spot is the larger compacts to full size. And I have the shield, I can shoot it, and I'm actually pretty accurate with it, but I've really got to crunch my hands on that thing. And I can draw it just because the grip's a little longer and I use extensions anyway. But, you know, I just think you need to fit the gun to you, whoever you are, and be able to shoot it, reliably and comfortably, and don't crunch your hands on it or get these little baby tiny guns just because they'll fit in a purse, because those things are, man, they're just a pain in the ass to shoot. Those little teeny tiny guns. I
yeah,
see
yeah,
ladies trying to shoot bodyguard 380s with the 12-pound trigger, and they're doing this, and I mean, they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn if they had to because the triggers are just so damn stout.
yeah, yeah. That sounds about par for me. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, so what have you done recently? Anything exciting that you've picked up that kind of fits a niche for you? Anything new?
Well, with the competition stuff, they raised, and I kind of went on a tangent about that, about raising the weight of the pistols for USPSA carry optics. They raised it up to 59 ounces now. It was 45 ounces, so they've gone up quite a bit. Just got the lock grips in, the brass palm swells, which are 9 ounces just for the grips. Put those on, got them in today, played around with them, and I ordered the super aggressive ones, so they're real tacky. And it's given a lot of weight to the rear. My concern is when I shoot it, since I had it milled and everything, is the front,
Right.
Like, is all the weight, with the mag and everything going to be at the back, so we're dominating the weight at the rear and allows muzzle rise. I think I can probably crunch it down and really grip it and be okay, but I don't know. I'm interested in shooting it, but like you said, I mean, I've got tons of ammo, but I don't want to, go to the. I mean, not that I'm not going to go to the range, but I'm just trying to lay low a little bit
Hmm.
because my parents are elderly, and if I go see them, I don't want to be. I'm not saying I'm going to get it, but I don't want to carry it to them. Um,
Sure. Sure.
so I'm trying to look at all aspects, not just myself. I'm trying to be smart about it too. I don't want to be
Yeah.
dumb, and I hope other people think the same way.
So getting to ammo, let's bring this really interesting topic up. Let's talk about ammunition for a little bit. So a couple of things I want to just talk about, and then we'll open it up. But I saw Pop's Quest video today about him reloading and stuff, and I wonder now looking at it and looking at the situation we're in now, plus the one we had a few years ago. I think that for me, I'm not going to get full blown into reloading, but I think I'm going to save my money. I'm going to buy myself a little press and everything, and just have it ready in case, and maybe just start playing around a little bit, because I definitely have felt that in the situation we have right now, I mean, the ammunition's gone scarce to say the least. I went in today, bought some 9mm, which was available surprisingly. They had some bulk, and then I also bought some 30-30. Can't ever have enough of that. But, I think for, retrospect, looking back, I think a lot of us should really decide maybe it's time to go that route. Maybe not full blown into it, but definitely Pops made some really good points. The fact that, when he started off, he wanted to do this and that, but, and I respect that. And I respect him quite a bit because I think he really has a good attitude towards things. But at the same time, where are you at with that? Where are you in this idea of maybe now starting to get into that reloading? Maybe not full blown into it, but just having something as a backup plan.
I have been so far as in the store, reaching down, picking up a Dillon 750, had it in my hand, and then it starts going through my head. And, by buying, and at that particular time, and this is not my first ammo scare. This is not my first rodeo. I've been through this shit a lot, and that's pretty sad to say. So, yes, I should already be reloading, and shame on me for not. And I've, Humble's actually, I've even done that with him. He let me run some, like 100, 200 rounds or something to try it. And it's not that difficult once you get it down. And especially if you're only dealing with 9mm, and you don't have all these multiple calibers to do. So yes, it is very smart to do it. As much as I travel, that is kind of an excuse, because when I'm home, I want to be with the family and not sitting, somewhere and reloading all the time. Some people come home at night and they can do it then. And could I make time for it if I had to? Yes. I think it's very smart. Even if you only had a single stage press, just you're doing them one at a time. Right. And those are very cheap. And some even come with the 9mm die and everything that you need. So yeah, I think it's good, and I am going to invest in one of those. I pretty much, told myself after this that I'm going to invest at least into that. So I do have it. I'm going to keep primers, and I've always got brass, and stuff like that. I'm going to start keeping some of that on hand, and I'm going to get into it. I probably won't be, the perfect reloader, but I want to start practicing and getting used to it. So yeah.
Sure. All right, good. And I think that's where a lot of people need to start thinking. And Ranger was saying that, the supplies are getting scarce, and that is true. And Pops even addressed that it will happen from time to time. But, go in stages. Buy what you need, the primers and the brass if you need it, and, of course, everything else, the powder. So, just do it in stages as opposed to all at once. So that's just some good advice, I think. I think it definitely gave me time to pause and think, man, maybe I've been doing this a little bit wrong. Now I need to start doing a little bit right. So that's just some heads up for people to check out that video.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to talk to you. Oh, go ahead.
Even for ammo, and this is one thing, I don't just buy a box here and there, I buy them by the thousands. So, and I don't ever go low, I really stay pretty loaded up. I try to keep multiple thousands on hand of each caliber I use. But the thing is, and I've told people this in the past, and even friends and acquaintances and things like that, and, they know how much ammo I have. And they're like, oh, man, that's crazy. You don't need that much ammo. That's so stupid. And I'm like, and then they're like, how much hollow points do you have? How much, ball ammo do you have? And I'm telling them, they're like, you don't need all that. That's ridiculous. Well, I've already had 3 or 4 calls from some of those same people and text and DMs saying, hey, can I get ammo from you? I can't find it anywhere. And I'm like, really? You were kind of busting my balls before, and now you won't, now you need ammo. And it's, I'm a big believer, even if you can't do it by the thousands, every time you're out, even if you go to Cabela's and you've got $20 in your pocket, buy what you can buy, just put some aside for times like these. Because think about it this way. If, we were reloading and we couldn't get primers and we couldn't get this and we couldn't get that, or you couldn't get any powder, say powder was on shortage. Okay, you got brass and you got bullets, but you can't, you can put them together, but they're not going to go bang. So you need, some stuff that's already loaded. Now, whether you've loaded it yourself and you've got it on hand, that's great. But you got to be prepared. You don't know when something could pop off. And, I've had people go, you would, what would you shoot somebody with? Or, if something came down to it, and I'm like, I don't care if it's an FMJ or a hollow point, I'm gonna shoot you in your face. I mean, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me,
Yeah, right. Seriously.
whatever.
And again, if you guys are out there trying to buy ammo and all you can find is a jacketed gun, buy them anyway.
Yeah.
Well, oh, it may pass through the target. Yes, I know, but it's still going to hurt like hell. So it's better than having zero.
Well, and if you've got one guy trying to break into your house, or he's in your house and there's nothing behind him, and you know your house better than anybody, I don't care what I'm going to pop him with. He's getting popped. So
Yeah, and I would say shoot them in a safe direction. So shoot at their feet. you know.
yeah, no, I
All
don't.
right.
Want, I don't,
So
I don't want to wound him, because then they'll sue me for wounding him or
I don't
trying.
know, man. When you ever stub your toe, that hurts like a motherfucker.
Well, yeah,
Can imagine getting hit in the foot by a bullet. Ouch.
yeah.
So let us talk about this other controversial topic that sprouted its ugly head again, and that, of course, is cheaper than dirt. So, as many of you are aware, cheaper than dirt has made it their job to be completely lower than dirt and basically gouge prices. Now, there are some out there saying, well, they are price gouging, but every price is going up. And yes, that's true. They are going up, and we know that because there's a larger demand. So, obviously, they're going to try to make more money. But when we're talking about 1,000 rounds of 115 grain going for $1,000, like $1,000, $1 a round. That's ridiculous. That's nothing more than taking advantage of people. And you know what? Say what you will. I mean, I posted it and I think it said it enough. This is not who we are as Americans. I'm tired of people trying to say, oh, well, I'm in it for myself. But listen, it's not the spirit of who we are as people. We should be rallying around each other. We should be helping if we can, so that we work together as a team. Now, maybe that's naive, but I always thought that was what America should be and what it is. But unfortunately, apparently, I've been wrong all this time. So what are your thoughts about that?
Well,
Cheaper than
I'll just
dirt.
go ahead and let you know, and out of the bag, it's not just cheaper than dirt. I
Mm.
mean, there's people that are just as high as them already. Expansion ammo, there's a bunch, and what's funny, expansion ammo is a reloader. So it's remand ammunition going for $1,000 or $8.99 a box or a case. So,
Mm.
I mean, there's all, and if anybody remembers, and I've been around for a long time, and this is, again, not my first rodeo or buying ammo or buying anything. I have not bought anything from cheaper than dirt since, I think, even before Sandy Hook. So every time there's some crazy thing that happens, cheaper than dirt is the first one to rear their ugly head. They're known for that. So I haven't bought crap from them, and I can't even count how long. As a matter of fact, the only thing I've ever bought for them was 3 mags, because they were literally, and it's for a specialty pistol for an older one. They were the only ones in the world that had those mags. So I had to buy them from them. But that was even before all that other mess happened. So, I don't give them my money. And here's where you can, and I'm pissed off about it too. Don't get me wrong. I think it's ridiculous. I don't rape people. However, and y'all have heard this, rape the willing. If people are willing to do it, and
Sure.
that's when you get the guys coming out of the woodwork that are, panic buying, or they're new gun owners. So they're like, oh my gosh, that's probably how much ammo cost, because they don't know any different. That's who they're going after. They're not going after, smart people or educated buyers. They're going after those guys that just think they got to, it's like they're like the toilet paper mecca of the world because they have ammo. So, I mean, capitalism, you can look at it that way. I don't look at it, I mean, yes, they have the right to do it, but I have the right to say no and say you're an
Right.
idiot. And
But there also is something to have a business that runs with good character as well.
yeah,
Ranger 10 brought up the idea that his local shop hasn't raised his prices 1 cent.
yeah,
Mine hasn't either. I walked in there, he was still selling boxes for $10 or whatever it was. Even the guns, this guy literally was selling so many guns. The lines in New York State for guns right now are out of control. It's kind of funny because you just want to be able to slap them all in the back of the head and saying, see, assholes, this is why we told you to support the Second Amendment here all
exactly.
along.
Yeah.
But he did not raise his prices on any of his firearms, and he's doing fine. He's doing better than fine
Yeah.
right now, and that's why I'm saying. So yeah, I understand the fact that people are going to raise their prices, and yes, people are willing to do that. But I also think you're also playing on the desperation of so many people.
You are.
Desperate people will always do desperate things, and when we're at that level where we're at right now, and people are desperate, whether they're right or wrong in being desperate, you still have these companies that are preying on them. And to me, they're no better than somebody who would prey on a child, prey on a woman, or
Yeah.
something of that sort, you know?
And I agree with a lot of that too. However, that's not our business. I mean, it's not. I mean, I don't mean it that way. We don't own the
Yeah,
business.
yeah, no, I know what you mean.
I would run it
Yeah.
differently. And Texas Gun Experience. I mean, they're great guys. They were actually selling cases of green tip, 5.56 green tip for $319. I mean, during this, and they had a pallet. They got a pallet in one morning, and it sold out that afternoon. They got 4 pallets 9mm, and they were selling them at very reasonable prices. So
Right.
we're telling people, hey, go there. If you're local, they've got it, and they sold out pretty quick. Because that's like when the guy brings in the buggy and just starts loading it up. That's when he grabs a credit card and says, we're not ever going to have ammo again. That's what I'm saying. Always keep ammo on stock, or
Right.
on hand, no matter what. Even if you got 500 rounds, just keep it. And, if you go to the range, shoot 20 or 30 rounds, just kind of keep up on it. And don't just go in there. And I've been guilty of this. Hell, every time I go to a range trip, it's 500 plus rounds sometimes. So, you just have to account for stuff like this. So keep stuff on hand. I mean, kind of goes back to food and water and stuff like that. And I look at it this way. If stuff gets really nasty, I've got ammo and I've got guns and I've got magazines, a bunch of all of those. So ultimately, who's going to have what they need? Well, I'm being as nice as I can, but I'm just saying, if you want to stock up for me and shit gets bad, guess what? Or you can use some of that for trading. It's a great bartering system because cash is, credit's going to be irrelevant, stuff like that. So it's going to be food, ammo, gasoline, it's going to be those kind of goods. So you got to look at it that way too. Invest in something that's worth something, not, socks and underwear.
All right, so we are now almost at 8:30. We actually have 100 people watching right now, so thank you,
Awesome.
everybody. I think this might be the one time we've actually hit 100. So appreciate that all. 711-408 is saying we should have whiskey. Actually, you should have all different types of alcohol. Whiskey, a little bit of vodka is always fun. So I think that's good as well. That's definitely a bartering item as well.
Yes, and it can
so
be used
uh,
it can help in disinfectant too. A lot of people don't know that, but it can.
Sure. Yep. Oh, now we're down to 97, so I guess I spoke too soon. But anyway, so the other thing we want to kind of bring about now that we're at the halfway point of this talky talk is this the coronavirus, because that obviously is I think a lot on people's minds right now. Every state right now, all 50 states have, and our territories have cases of coronavirus. And of course, there are some states that are faring much worse than others. New York being worst, I believe, at this point. I think maybe Washington might be beating us, but I'm not sure. And, we've had it's been very weird here. You have a part of New York called New Rochelle that was placed under lock and key by the National Guard. You have de Blasio in communist New York City talking about doing a shelter in place for all residents of New York City, whether that's realistic or not. I do not think that's realistic to do. And then, of course, you have the governor of New York State who has come out and said, absolutely not, we're not going to do that. And then you go to the supermarkets and you see people panic buying, which is just incredible, whether it's toilet paper, whether it's paper towel, you name it. I was telling Big Johnson here before that I had to get up at 5 a.m. just to go to the supermarket to be able to buy actually like meat, chicken, pork, because there was none. There was none the prior day. It was gone. So, I guess where I'm going with this is, are we seeing the worst of humanity at this point, or are we getting to that point where we're approaching that? Because people are gone batshit crazy, to say the least. They've just gone insane. And it doesn't look like there's going to be any relief in this for quite a while. So I'm just curious what you guys think.
Well, first, what I want to say, and I think everyone should say this, and if you get the opportunity, post it, whatever you need to do. But first off, we need to thank the damn truck drivers. Those guys are still delivering food every day. If they went on strike or they decided to do something crazy, we would all be screwed. And people don't realize that. So God bless the truck drivers. Please let them be safe on the roads and get these goods to the people that they need. One more thing. If you're looking on the shelves and there is a bunch of stuff on the shelf, and then under the tag it says WIC. If it says WIC in big capital letters, do not buy it. Buy another good, because that's the WIC program, and it could be for nursing mothers and things like that. And that's the only product they're allowed to buy. They can't buy a cheaper brand or a more expensive brand. They have to buy that brand. So please look out for those people too, because they've got kids. They're dealing with kids, breastfeeding and things like that. So please help them out. And if you are adults and you don't have any children, don't buy diapers. Let the moms and things have their diapers, for God's sakes, and don't try to sell them on eBay for $5,000. And these toilet paper people, I just want to throat punch them. It's ridiculous. I don't know what the hell. I mean, you got towels, you got a water hose, you got what you need. I don't know why you're doing this with toilet paper. It's freaking ridiculous, but whatever. That's my soapbox thing. But I think that, if we can get these truckers going and allow, and I do like what a lot of stores have done where they've cut back their hours. Some of them have, where they're stocking at night. And then, because if you're just going into a 24-hour store and it's completely unloaded all the time, what's the point of going there? You're just wasting your time and their time too. So, honor their stocking times, and, they're trying to stock stuff up for people to go in and pillage again. I'm not that guy. I mean, I usually keep, dry goods and stuff on hand, not to the extent I probably should, but, we're fine and we're getting what we need. But just, if you truly don't need it, don't hoard it and take it, because there's families and kids out there that need that stuff. So let them have it, for God's sakes, man. That's when it, like what 17 said, and we've always said, we're all Americans. We're all in it together. We're going to suffer. They're going to suffer. There might be some things we need, but we're going to live. And this is going to pass, eventually. And we don't know how long it's going to be going on. So just be a good person. Just period. Just help each other out, man.
And then Floridian brought up this idea about the healthcare workers too. So, and again, a big shout out to all the EMS people and first responders and all the people working in these situations where they're going to be dealing with these patients. But, again, that was something we kind of talked about a little bit before the chat started. And it's the fact that, again, there's a lot of people who are politicizing this on both spectrums, on whatever side you run. At the same time, though, it's like, I think with everybody looks at things from their own experiences in life, and some people look at it from the political spectrum of, well, this is the government's way of clamping down on us, or the government should do more, or whatever it is that they're feeling. But, in my practical experience in my life, man, I'll be honest with you, my biggest fear is the system being overwhelmed, because it can happen very quickly. And we're not there yet. We're not even, I personally don't think we're close to that yet, but it's very easy to get there. And I think we need to understand that. So while people are protesting this idea that we can't meet together in large groups and everything, I think you need to kind of walk back from that cliff of the apocalypse and say to yourself, okay, do I really want to be in a group with 500 people at this point? Because we're not talking about a virus that is just, flu-like in a way where it spreads, if there's a room of 500, it spreads to 10, 15 people. We're talking about a virus that's extremely aggressive, that is being spread from God knows who, because they're saying that young kids get it, but they're not affected by it, but they are carriers. Then you have people walking around that may not even know they have it, who are carriers and giving it to people. And I think that's where the real concern is. So today there may only be 1,000 people. By next week, there could be 50,000 people. And if that was to happen, the system gets overwhelmed, and that's it. That's the breaking point. That's the threshold we don't want to get to, because that's when you see the collapsing of everything else. And that's what I'd like to try to avoid, if possible.
Yeah. And, with my business, we actually have, it's the 5th biggest show in the nation that was actually going to happen this month. It was right here. And, they didn't send down an alert that they were going to cancel it or any of that stuff. And I'm like, and I've been to that show every year for, I don't know how many years, 10 or so or more. And you get those mouth breathing people that are like right here in your face, and they're like, hey, what are you doing? And you're like, get the hell away from me. So I was like, oh boy, here we go. And I'm talking thousands and thousands and thousands of people, not, 50. And I was just like, oh crap, here we go. Everybody's going to get this crap, or it's going to be going around like wildfire. Well, they finally canceled it. And I was glad about it, because I really don't want to be around that. Like I said, I'm not worried about myself, just don't want to contaminate others or be a carrier. And I'm not the germaphobe freak guy, that's, we're all going to die, or, I don't, shake hands with people or any of that. I'm not that guy at all. But, I just think people need to be smarter about it. And man, what's funny is if you've seen a lot of these spring break pictures and videos, people are wrestling on the beach and doing all this stuff and congregating and all that. And I'm just like, there was a time for that, but right now, and they're all young, so they're just like, oh, we're not going to get it, but they could take it home to their parents or could take it home to whomever, and you just never know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and then this one's interesting. I read this also earlier. ND Irish is saying that Baltimore's mayor was basically begging the citizens of Baltimore to quit shooting each other because they need hospital beds available for coronavirus victims. So again, that goes to show you what the doctrine has been in some of these cities for so long, and now that the writing's on the wall, they're trying to change that right away.
Yeah, and do you see some of the cities where they were coming out and saying, we're not going to worry about traffic stops, we're not going to worry about speeding, we're not going to worry about small theft, we're not going to worry about this, and I'm like, are you kidding me? You're basically somewhat inviting. If you're advertising that, you're inviting looters, you're inviting people to run into stores and start stealing stuff. I don't think they should have. If they're going to do that, it could be an inside policy, or hey, we're just not. It's not going to be a priority, but we might get to it.
Right.
But don't advertise it and post it everywhere. Hey, we're not going to worry about these. I mean, good Lord.
Yeah.
You're getting people that don't even live in those areas going, guess what? We could, let's drive to that area tonight and, molest that neighborhood or molest that area. I mean, that was just completely stupid to come out and say that, I think. And I'm not a cop, but I just think from any law enforcement, coming out and just flat out saying that, I think that's ridiculous.
Right. And then that brings you to the next point of, okay, so if you're allowing these, maybe petty crimes, according to them, does that then push them over that and start making more serious crimes to innocent people? Mm-hmm. And then, then that's maybe why you have the run on guns now, where so many people are concerned about their own safety that now, because a lot of people I saw buying guns were buying shotguns. Again, it's that myth that the shotgun is the best weapon for a house.
But Joe Biden.
And, right, that's right. And they were buying, I mean, some of the things they were buying used shotguns that looked like they were 55 years old. Some of them didn't even know how to load a shotgun. They didn't know that they were buying, a double barrel versus a semi-auto versus a pump. It was pretty shocking. I mean, I guess, again, it's positive in the way that maybe New Yorkers will wake up knowing now what the importance of having a firearm is. But at the same time, it makes you really wonder that if this is a powder keg ready to go off for one of these idiots who don't know what they're doing, and then they do something completely stupid. So
yeah, no, and I totally agree with that. We were talking about that earlier, and California's going through it too. And what's bad is they're buying the guns now, but they've got the 10-day waiting period. So I don't know. They don't know if they have ammo. If they've even trained, know how to load a gun. I mean, that's going to be an interesting thing there.
Right.
So I don't know. It's anytime there's a panic situation, people totally unprepared people fall off the deep end.
Yep.
And it's never going to change.
Never
going to change.
I actually got delayed for the first time ever. I think that was the second time. Second time ever.
CHL. How did you get delayed?
Well, because when you have to go through a NICS background check here. So every time you buy a gun, you got to go through a background check.
Okay, in Texas, if you have your CHL or LTC, you've already been approved. You just
doesn't matter.
You literally write down your number and you do your paperwork and you're good to go.
Nope, New York State, you go into your gun shop, whether it's a long what I'm trying to say, a long rifle or a handgun or something, you actually have to do your background check through the ATF. That's every purchase.
Do you see Daniel? He said his local gun shop sold 351 guns yesterday.
Oh, I believe it. Wow. I believe it. I tell you, man, I saw all kinds of shit getting put off that shelf. I mean, things that I'm like, my God, that's like a relic. Is that even going to work? But at the same time, I went through my background check, and because the NICS system was, I guess, so overwhelmed because New York State and some of these other places, it's records everywhere, I think, are being broken right now. So I got delayed. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I got delayed. And then the next day I got approved, but it's still, I was like, shit, man, that's how busy it was that they just wouldn't do it,
Yeah,
man.
I've never been delayed in my life. That I mean, I'm not saying that I've had my C or I've had my LTC forever. It was CHL back.
Right.
That's why I always call it that. Now it's LTC, but I've had it forever. But even when I bought my first rifle at 18 years old, I wasn't delayed. So
Yeah.
that's just really crazy. And I know that the system works weird, but and they can get overwhelmed. But maybe that's why they delayed it because they just had so many people entering it. But man, if you've already been pre-approved and you're carrying that, you don't need to be double approved. I mean, that's just
Oh no,
ridiculous. You're
that is the
wasting, for
rule.
one, you're wasting the NIC system for the guy that does need to be approved,
Mm.
and there shouldn't be a double approval process. I mean, that's just retarded.
Well, that's unfortunately that's what you got to go through to do it legally here. So music brought up a good point. Just buying a gun is not going to protect you, and she's
No,
absolutely right.
no,
Because, and congratulations, music. This might be the first time you've been right.
no. She's been right a
Oh,
lot.
just kidding. I know. Just kidding, music. Don't feel bad. But at the same time, she's got a great point because, like I said, there were some like scary people handling
Yep,
firearms this weekend, and my biggest fear is that they're going to do something with it that they're not ready to do.
yep,
Whether it's shooting it, whether it's holding it, whether it's loading it, and just not knowing the nuances of how to operate those guns. I don't know, man. It's I wonder if it's going to lead to worse things than better things. But if you did buy a gun and you're brand new to it, my suggestion is there's about 5 billion videos on YouTube
yep,
that you can look at on how to operate something, how to take it down. Look through that stuff. I mean, a lot of it is very valuable.
yep.
It's not just people shooting things and blowing things up. It's people trying to educate others. So I would definitely take an opportunity to do that if I was one of those newbies going out with the guns.
Yeah, and I mean that's exactly what I was going to say. If you can't go to the range because of this virus or whatever, watch videos and learn from that because you know a newbie can learn the basics just by watching a video. But we've all seen it. You go into a gun store, they check it. The guy wants to see a gun. They check it. They make sure it's clear and there's no magazine in it and all that stuff, and they hand it to the guy. The first thing he does is grab the gun like this, puts his finger in it, and he's already pulling the trigger. And I'm like, and then he's waving it, going, "Yeah, this is really cool." And he's like, he's putting his sights on you. And I'm like, "Really? I'm right here, jackass." And I've yelled at him before. I'm like, "Put that muzzle down. Don't be wagging that gun around." They're like, "Well, it's not loaded." I'm like, "Every gun is loaded. You need to treat it that way." So,
Yep.
because if he's doing it in the store, what's he probably going to do at home? And it's just, people need to learn the basics, and
Right.
hopefully they will.
And there are some pretty relevant comments. Range Randy is saying that his local gun shop is going to be closed just so they can restock, get things organized. And I think that's a great idea. It also gives people kind of like that timeout. And I think
Yeah.
some people need that because it's gone pretty berserk. Red October saying, ask someone to help you do what do your part. I agree with that too. I was in the gun shop and this woman, I felt so bad for her. She's home alone with a kid, no husband. So she buys a 20 gauge shotgun, has no idea how to load it. So I stepped aside with the owner, and we kind of showed her how to use it and
Yeah.
what to do with it. But at the same time, it is scary a little bit, because
Yeah.
God forbid she hears something, she goes out and it's the goddamn milkman, even though there's no milkman anymore. But
Yeah.
let's say he's out at the front door delivering milk and she blows a hole through him with a 20
Yeah.
gauge. I mean,
I mean, of course, we can't worry about what we can't control. We can
sure.
offer advice and things like that. And I've had, matter of fact, a buddy of mine, and I've known him forever. He's not a gun guy, but we've been friends forever. And he was calling me, asking me some basic stuff because this is happening. And he has a gun, and was asking me, about ammo and stuff like that, and what he should do and how he should load it and stuff like that. So I was going over a lot of it with the phone. We actually even FaceTimed him. And when I started showing him, I grabbed a mag and was showing him and watching him load it. So I was kind of doing it over FaceTime, and got him squared away. So if something happens, he's at least somewhat prepared. And he's a shooter. I've shot with him before. He's just not super proficient, but he can hit. He could hit a body if he needed to.
Right.
So
And I think more importantly, it also gives you the opportunity to not only like make people hopefully safe when they
yeah,
leave, but at the same time, it also gives them an introduction of who the gun culture is.
yeah,
We're not crazy people. We're
yeah,
average people who enjoy shooting and owning firearms.
yeah.
So it's an opportunity to kind of control that message that we've lost control over after a
And
couple
and
of years of this.
especially if a gun shop has a gun range, and I know Texas Gun Experience says it, if they have a range there, they'll give them a pass, and they'll even have range officers that can help people, kind of, just get the basics. It's not a true course, but it is the basics. So at least you have some sort of fundamentals. So if you buy that gun, I mean, you could even literally take it off the shelf and they'll walk you back there and let you shoot it. So they'll do things like that for you. And I think that's a great thing. If a gun store has a gun range and they're able to do that, I think that's really beneficial to the customer, and it's going to make them feel more comfortable. And they're probably going to keep buying from you for that reason, because you assisted them in a time of need. So I think that's a great thing. And I wish everybody would do that or offer something like that.
I agree. All right, so we are now at 8:45, so we've got about 15 minutes left of this wonderful conversation. So of course we'll do our best to answer questions. If anybody's got some questions, or if you have anything you'd like to bring up, Big Johnson, let's do that now, so that we get this thing moving.
Yep.
What do you got? Anything?
Well, I mean, I just want everyone to be safe. Everyone to stay well. Carry on. Like I always say, be prepared. Even when you're out in public, because you could be pushing that grocery basket out of groceries that you purchased. And I saw some shady characters, just standing, walking around in parking lots. It's like they weren't walking to the store and they weren't walking to their car, and they weren't talking. It's like they were standing in the middle of the parking lot and they're just kind of looking around. And I'm like, what are you doing this for? You're not congregating. It's like you're stalking people out. So be aware. Don't be playing on your phone and walking to your car. Be aware of what's going on out there, because shady people are grab your groceries, beat you up. There's just stupid people out there. So just be aware of that and stay safe, and take care of your family. And it's kind of a weird thing with this shutdown thing, because I'm not traveling. Going into hotels, and hell, all the restaurants, even in a bunch of areas, are closed, so I could get takeout. But I'm not traveling at this time. I've shut it down, and I'm just kind of, not saying I don't go out of the house, but I just kind of watch where I go, and, try not to be around a lot of people. So, but, and definitely, if there's any way to reach out to truck drivers, let them know that we appreciate them. That's just a huge, huge things, man. Yes. And I'm coughing.
Right, so
I have a dry cough. I don't have corona. I have some allergy stuff going on. I get it every year, so I'm not dying, but I'm also don't want it to turn into anything else too.
Sure. So Young Guns is asking really quick about Caracol. So I did speak to Jeff at Caracol, who's the guy I've been speaking to on and off for a few months here. So there is some news. Last time I spoke to him before they went on shutdown too, was they were actually going to be putting everything together and sending me my gun back, plus an additional gun to look at and see what I think. There's been some transition in Caracol, so they switched it over from, I guess, one entity to another that's more direct with military control over the firearms. So maybe that's a good thing. Not sure. So I'm hoping, keeping my fingers crossed, to see those guns arrive here in a few weeks. But I've said that about 1,000,000 times now. But hopefully this is going to be the good news I've been waiting for. Because like I said, I don't want to say no to the gun unless there's a problem with it again. I'll give it a second chance, and hopefully it'll work correctly. So that's good news for me, and hopefully it'll be good news for them and for you guys as well. The other one was, this guy, Che Cabler. He's asking how to get in touch with you, Big Johnson.
He can hit me up on Instagram. Just shoot me a DM. It's Big Johnson Guns and Gear, and I'll answer. I always answer those too.
There's your answer. Let's see what else we got going on. Some basic advice: stay home, wash your hands, avoid contact as much as possible. So yeah, that's kind of what they're recommending right now. So I would agree with Red October.
Yep.
Wash
your nasty ass hands.
That's right. Don't touch your face either. It's terrible. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, there's not many questions. So, like I said, if you guys have questions, ask away. We'll do our best to answer them. We're trying to cover a multitude of things because there's been a lot of stuff going on recently. Obviously, there is talk and people mentioning martial law in certain areas. San Francisco is closed down completely. It's really interesting to watch. I mean, what we're watching is history. Let's be honest. I mean, the last pandemic was, again, 1917 with the Spanish flu. I don't think anybody's alive from that right now, from that time period. But and maybe there are. But at the same time, we're watching history unfold in front of us. Hopefully it works out. I mean, obviously there are fears about the economy, which I think are really, really important fears for a lot of people. And and at the same time, also the health fears, and again, it's not necessarily about you. It may be about a loved one who has some form of underlying medical condition that could compromise their life. And obviously, we don't want that to happen. So, stay clean, stay away if you have to. And hopefully, this will clear up very soon. And we'll all be going back to our normal rat race lives that we live. So, we'll
Yes.
see. We'll see how it plays out.
Yes, and also, I guess Ches was asking if I have a channel, and yes, I do. The comments, and that's another thing that we always say. You can go onto the icons when we leave comments, or anybody out there that leaves comments, and you can tap it, and it'll say go to their channel. If they have a channel, you can subscribe. So please subscribe to everyone. And yes, music, I'm married, but if I wasn't, you'd be my next girlfriend. How about that?
Oh, boy.
And
That's sight unseen music.
yeah, hey,
Congratulations.
music's, she's been a loyal person. She's been super loyal. So, you got to show everybody some love. But yeah, like I said, we're all in this together. We don't need to be doing this infighting. And if someone needs something and it literally looks like they need it, and they've got 3 or 4 kids or whatever, and you necessarily don't need it, let that person have it. I mean, I even gave away some toilet paper in the but before this was all starting. And I didn't go in and pack my cart, but a lady was like, "Where did you get that toilet paper?" And I was like, "Well, it's back there on the shelf, but I didn't see any more." And I said, "Do you need some?" And she said, "Yeah, I really do." And so I gave her, a package of it. I mean, nobody's going to die from not having toilet paper. And I don't. This doesn't cause explosive diarrhea, so I don't know what the toilet paper thing is anyway. But whatever. I just think that we can definitely help each other out. We've been through crazy, especially in Texas. We've been through crazy stuff here with the hurricanes and all that crap, and we got through it. And other people have been through stuff too. So just have a heart when you're out there and realize there's other people, and it's not just about you. But of course, take care of your family too.
Mm-hmm. So Floridian's asking, how are rifles coming along? So how are your rifles coming along, sir?
My rifles are awesome. I just picked up another one. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, but I just picked up another one. I got the Savage B22 Precision. This is their new Precision model with the MFT full chassis. And I wanted a little Precision 22 bolt gun. I have tons of 22 rifles, but I don't have any bolt guns, bolt 22s. And so I wanted one. I got it before all this crap happened. I had it on order, and I haven't even got to shoot it yet. I'm going to go shoot it this week for sure. I've got tons of 22 ammo, and I'm going to go shoot it and break in the barrel and, start dialing in the scope and all that stuff. But I'm really excited about it. I mean, the trigger on it is insane. It's a 1.5 pound trigger. It's adjustable, so you can make it, heavier if you want. But trigger is awesome. So, and I can put my suppressor on it, so it's threaded and stuff like that. So that's another reason I got it. But I'm excited about that. And, and I'll probably shoot a couple of pistols, but I'm not going to blow through ammo. I'm going to be very smart. I'm going to practice with a purpose, not just for a bunch of testing to see if, hey, this gun runs everything. So I don't want to blow through all my ammo, but I'm going to spend time shooting guns. I mean, I'm not going to be a hermit. What do you got going on?
Well, I just wound up picking up that the Ruger, listen to me, the Marlin 3030, the Dark Series model. And I've got to say it's probably, and again, I'm not talking about the jam models and all the old school ones, but for a new Marlin, this is by far probably my favorite.
Yeah.
The lever is smooth. Everything is really smooth. The fit of the stock on the receiver is very nice, very, very snug. There doesn't seem to be a lot to complain. It's got the threaded barrel, which is nice. It's got a rail on it already for a scope. It's got everything that you'd want. I mean, it's a little pricey for a Marlin, but to me, it was worth it. It's the one I've been looking for. They just happen to have it. And so I picked it up and couldn't be any happier, man. It's just such a nice rifle. So I'm really looking forward to getting that out. I think my biggest problem right now is just worrying about, keeping an eye on the ammo is always an important thing. I mean, I have plenty of self-defense. I have probably, I don't know, I'm nearing about 1,200 rounds for, just practice ammo. And that was after restocking because I blew through everything else. And I'm like, I want to go shooting, but at the same time, I want to not go shooting because I don't want to risk blowing through it so quickly and then not having anything just in case. So, I've got to do some shooting. I got some guns I got to finish with, and but I don't know when it's going to happen because, like I said, it's, I should be reloading, damn it.
Yeah, and you want to stay, you want to stay, not be rusty. You want to keep a little bit, but then
Sure.
again, that's why, dry fire is such a great thing. Doesn't cost you a dime, and you can do it. You can do it with
Hmm.
rifles. So get down in the prone if you want on the kitchen floor and practice with your rifle. But yeah, 30-30 is a great round. I mean, I should have, and I could
Yeah.
kick. That's one gun that I do regret getting rid of is my old Marlin 30-30, and it was the old one that was
Yep.
made like in the old Marlin factory. Um,
Sure.
and I sold it to my uncle, and I've tried to buy it back like 10 times, and he won't sell it to me. So, but I did say,
Yeah.
whenever you die, I get it, and he said okay.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's very low capacity, but it's got quite the punch, I think,
yeah,
when you need
no,
it. And they're not really, especially in places like this, not a very intimidating looking rifle. Although the
no,
Dark Series may
yeah,
be,
it's a little
but
more tactical.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, it's just cool. It's the way they set it up, short barrel. I mean, it's just
yeah.
really nice. They did a good job with it.
Yeah,
So
they're awesome.
pretty
They're
happy with
awesome
it.
rifles. And I love the 38, 357 series too. I mean, those are great rifles.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so I'm going to be, shooting 22s and stuff like that, and just kind of trying to, have some fun with it.
Hmm. So Armsman is asking, by the way, if you haven't checked out his holsters as well, you should check out his holsters. Great stuff. I was actually playing around with my Beretta holster here earlier for the APX. Great stuff. So the P365, that's the one gun I haven't shot yet that I have to shoot. And it's interesting. I know now why so many people really like the gun. It's got really good capacity. It's the ingenuity behind it, the idea that you're stuffing all those rounds into such a small footprint of a gun is pretty good. I mean, let's be honest, that's actually a pretty damn good feat. I'm not sure how I feel about it just yet. I gotta wait till I shoot it to give really an honest perspective on it. I mean, carrying it wise, I've carried it a few times in the house. The thing vanishes. I mean, it's really nice. The only thing is, I noticed is you have to set up pretty high on your holster in order to be able to grab it really effectively. I don't know how people carry in a pocket. I don't know how you can get that out of your pocket fast enough. But I guess if somebody wants your wallet, you pull your gun instead.
Yeah,
But so far, it's good. I mean, it's a good gun. I don't know where it's going to be, 5 months from now. I don't know if it's going to be one that I would hold on forever because it's just, like Big Johnson mentioned earlier, I'm really more of a compact, double stack subcompact guy. That's what I like carrying. I feel more comfortable and confident carrying that way. But everybody's going to be different. But so far, it's good, and I know why people like it.
yeah, yeah. For me, I've shot them, and they don't do anything for me personally. But I know a lot of them, the newer ones especially, since they redid them, a lot of them are great guns, and a lot of people enjoy them. They're just too small for me personally, but
Mm.
nothing against them.
Yeah, and that's fine. We're allowed to have our opinions and go
Yeah.
with what we're
Oh,
feeling most comfortable with.
I'm not telling people not to buy it because hell, if it works for you, you know,
Yeah,
by all means,
and
use it.
and again, like I said, I'm the guy who would carry that the aluminum framed from Icarus Precision with my carry 320. I mean that would be the gun I'd want to carry more than a P365. I mean it's irrational, it's impractical, but at the same time, to me that blew my mind when you're holding this striker fired handgun made out of aluminum.
Yeah.
And it's again, this to me is where I'd like to see more go to because it's just such a better feeling gun because of that.
They're going to. I mean, now that they've raised this weight limit for carry optics and stuff, you're going to see people making heavier frames for Glocks, for SIGs. I mean, it brings a lot of different things that they would have never worried about before. I'm not saying everybody's going to
Mhm.
do it, but some people are going to do it. So, or some manufacturers will. But with this virus, who knows who's going to ramp up for things and things like that. But once it settles down, I think a lot more people are going to start doing that.
And I've got to give credit to Bald and Curious for making that aware that I didn't know what Icarus Precision was till he posted it. So there's your next prop, sir. I gave you one in the video, so shut up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you're looking for it, yeah, it's pricey. It definitely is pricey. But like I said, you got guys who go out and spend, $200 to Cerakote, $200 to stipple. It's $400 right there. The lower is 360, and it changes the dynamics of that gun. Again, haven't shot it because I got to get out and shoot it with the lower on there. But to me, that it is by far probably one of the most nice or best utilization of your money if you're going to upgrade a gun that you like quite a bit. And I think they did a great job with it.
Yeah. And like I said, if it makes it better for you or for anyone else, by all means, do it. Anything you feel comfortable in carrying, carry it. Make it your own.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're
Keith,
at
Gre- Keith, Keith,
59.33.
Keith Gregory says they have the SIG XL for me. I've held the XL. It's still freaking micro pistol in my hand. It's just tiny.
Yeah. Actually, that did feel better in my hand. I'm not gonna lie. It was
No, it
actually
feels,
much more
yeah,
comfortable.
it definitely
But
does
I,
feel
I would
better.
I would definitely go back to one gun that I feel suits me better than all of the other ones, and that is still going to be the 43X. I still think for my hand and the way it felt in my hand, that was the best feeling one of all, you know, whatever you want to call it, single stacks, this stack, whatever the hell you want to call these guns.
Dagger stack.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so we are now at an hour, sir. Is there anything you'd like to part with while we end this chat for tonight?
Just thank you to everyone. Be safe out there, and we always appreciate y'all being on. Y'all make all of this happen. So big thanks to y'all.
And I agree. Thank you guys for being on with us tonight. We hit over 100 a few times, so that's always a nice little thing to see. More importantly, take these times that you have now where you're not going to necessarily be working or whatever, spending with your friends and your family, mostly your family especially, because maybe this is a time where we need to reconnect, especially parents with their children, maybe with somebody you haven't spoken to within years in your family. This might be the opportunity that, somehow we're getting that will hopefully end well for everyone. So on that note, thanks everybody. We appreciate you guys being here, and we will see you next week.
Have a great night, everyone. Carry on.
See you, buddy.
Thanks, man. Take care.
I got to see how to shut this down. Oh, there it is. All right. We'll see you soon, big guy.
Take care, man.
Bye.
Bye.